Welcome to the doTerra Essential Oil Show. Today we're highlighting Copaiba, an incredible essential oil known for its powerful support for the nervous, immune, and cardiovascular systems. Whether you use the essential oil or the convenient soft gels, Copaiba is a must-have for whole body wellness.
Hello, friend. Welcome back to the doTerra podcast. I'm your host, Jared Auger, and today we're digging into one of doTerra's most powerful and versatile products, Copaiba Essential Oil, and its convenient companion, the soft gels. I love those Copaiba soft gels. To help us understand what makes them very effective and how they support everyday wellness, I'm joined by Dr. Nicole Stevens, our Vice President of Clinical Research. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. This is quite literally one of my favorite of all the doTerra products, so this is exciting.
So we like to answer a few questions on this podcast. And the first of which is, why does it matter to me? Why would someone integrate Copaiba or the soft gels and the soft gels into their life?
Yeah, it's a great question. And honestly, the bottom line answer is I haven't yet met a human being who had zero stress or tension or issues.
I'd like to find that person.
So that is one of the things that makes Copaiba so powerful, right? It really helps with that stress, tension, inflammation, trouble sleeping, all the things that seem to plague us in this modern lifestyle. Copaiba is so good at helping with those things because it interacts with the endocannabinoid system, right? This is a system of our body that's really on all of our organs, all of our tissues. It's a signaling system. And this helps our body know how to regulate based on what our environment's doing, based on the signals that it's receiving from the outside. And it's a very powerful signal that says balance.
And I love that word balance. And it just gives us a natural way to find that balance and discover that. So I love that about it as well.
Yeah, those CB2 receptors specifically, right? So there are different kinds of receptors in this endocannabinoid system. Some of them give you effects that aren't so fun. They might make you feel kind of weird, kind of funky. But the CB2 receptors that Copaiba and the beta-caryophyllene in Copaiba interact with, they don't. They're the powerful ones that help your body stay calm, reduce that overactive inflammation, help you with sleeping, process stress, but they don't make your head feel foggy or funky or give you some of those side effects that we worry about.
Well, and that's what I love too. And what I understand about that, the beta-caryophyllene, and it goes directly to that. It's not like a cascade of things that has to happen. It kind of goes directly there.
Right. And that's one of the differences between something like CBD and the beta-caryophyllene in Copaiba. It is a direct effect as opposed to kind of a sideward, roundabout way of getting at these signaling systems in the endocannabinoid system.
And that's what I love about essential oils. We're just going straight at it.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting it done.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
They recognize these signals. We've evolved with them. They know what to do when they receive that signal from the beta-caryophyllene.
Well, yeah, because the signal is just that chemistry saying, hey, body, maybe you should do this.
Here's what you can do.
Maybe you should watch this. Maybe you shouldn't do this anymore.
Let's balance a little bit.
Let's balance. I love bringing it back to that. Okay, so the next question, kind of what makes it different? So why is doTerra's Copaiba? Because there is Copaiba that's out there. I mean, there's probably not a lot of it out there, but it is out there. But why is doTerra's unique?
You know, like most of the things doTerra does, there's really this aspect of purity and consistency. This is a hard thing to do with a natural product, right? Because we've got things that are growing and trees that are changing and their environments that are being different from year to year. How do you get consistency with that? Well, we go to the source.
That's right.
Which is hard to do, and it's expensive, and it takes time. And very few other companies are willing to put in that work, but doTerra is. And it really shows in the purity of that product.
Well, it shows in the purity, and that shows up in the science and the research that you have. So it's not just a product that we went out and grabbed.
Yeah.
No, we're going to get the best.
Right.
We're going to find the best people to harvest it, and then we're going to show what great things that can do because of its purity.
That is what I have loved seeing, right? The purity leads to consistency. The consistency leads to the health effects, the benefits that we're seeing from this essential oil.
Yeah, and I also like to kind of say we've known some of that in our heart. We've experienced it, but now we've been able to kind of prove some of it. We know some of that in our mind with science.
I'm always surprised by the intuitive use of these oils, the way that they have been used traditionally. And then we go in with our science and we find, oh yeah, these things are all backed up. What do you know?
Yeah, love it. As we're talking about science and saying it's backed by science, there's some pretty amazing research about Copaiba that you've been sharing some tidbits with us, and it's been amazing. talk for a little bit about what you've been finding out about this amazing essential oil.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to rein it in because there's a lot, we will be sharing this, I'm sure, at some point, but we are stunned by what we're seeing. We did the first study of internal Copaiba essential oil that, to our knowledge, is the first that's ever been done in humans. So it's really groundbreaking research. We are finding that it does exactly what we've always thought. The proteins that are involved in the balancing of our bodies, that homeostasis, they're all fired up. They're activated. We're seeing changes in how our gene expression from our DNA is being modulated as we take this Copaiba. These are things, like we've said, immune system involvement and regulation of our cellular processes, things like that we really are needing as this signal to our body of, hey, this is what you need to be doing for optimum health.
Yeah, and I think this is going to point to where we might deploy Copaiba in the future too. For me, it's exciting to say, okay, now that we know some of these things, we've known them, we've experienced them, but now that we've kind of figured out a few more things, what are the genes that are being upregulated? What are the ones being downregulated?
Yes.
What other exciting possibilities could there be?
Exactly.
Amazing things.
Yeah. And some of the interesting things we're also seeing is how is it best absorbed, right? We talk about knowing how to use it and when to use it and how much to use. We have done the first pharmacokinetic study looking at when someone takes it internally, how is it absorbed? How long does that process take? How does the body process it? And when should you take it again to be able to maintain it in your body at a therapeutic level? So it's really a helpful way for us to be able to see how can we take this powerhouse and use it to the best of its ability.
Yeah, how do we dose it right and how do we deliver it to our bodies right for maximum benefit?
Absolutely.
I love that. Thank you, Dr. Nicole, for spending some time here with us today. We're going to continue our conversation with the amazing Lauren Bush as we talk about how we might use the oils every single day and how we might share them as well. But thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Right. Thanks. Okay, we're back. We had a brief pause in this podcast. We had Dr. Nicole Stevens talking about research, how we differentiate ourselves as doTerra and this beautiful Copaiba oil. Yeah. And now we have the incredible, I don't even know how to introduce you because you do so many things for doTerra. So Lauren Bush is on our education team, but kind of runs everything for us. Makes sure that everything happens really well, helps us even write these podcasts, does an incredible job. She was a nurse, mother of 9 children, and so she loves essential oils and uses them all the time. And we get to talk about daily use of Copaiba.
Absolutely.
So in your experience, welcome first.
Yeah.
How would you say, let's use Copaiba oil and let's use the Copaiba soft gels? How would you deploy those?
Yeah, I'm really excited for the research that Nicole is going to be sharing more with us. I think it's going to incentivize us to even find new ways or more reasons why to use Copaiba. So I'm excited how the routines might change. For right now, one of my parenting hacks is anytime that I'm giving my kids their omegas, I give my kids Copaiba because they have similar outputs when it comes to kids. And so if we can work multiple pathways between nutrition and our essential oils, we're doubling down on impact. And I have some kids that maybe bounce off walls and are extra wiggly. And so if I,
none of us know what that's like. No, we don't
so
know.
if in a healthy way, I can support their nervous system, support their little brains and their bodies as they're developing, help change maybe their perception of their environment so it's not something overwhelming. Instead, they're really enjoying life. Changes my experience as a mom. So I love bringing them together. They love.
So would that be like just an internal? I take the soft gels or dropping some in their mouth. What would you recommend?
So we just drop it underneath my kids' tongues. They know how to do it. The bottle is right next to their omegas. We used to combine it in the liquid omegas when we had liquid omegas. Now they think it's hilarious to pop the big omega capsules.
It's one of my favorite things to do.
It's fantastic. The kids love it. So even if they don't care for the taste of the Copaiba right after, they get that wild orange burst from the omegas. It's a blast.
So that's an internal use.
That's an internal use.
What about like topically, aromatically? How would you use that?
I think all of us have those moments in life where life's a little much. And sometimes we feel it upstairs. Sometimes we feel it internally. Sometimes my skin feels like it's crawling. And as a mom, if I am perceiving my environment as being something overwhelming, I do really well when I bring Copaiba in topically, and I just feel my whole system calm down. And again, it gives me extra bandwidth as a mom, as a parent, as a coworker. When life gets busy, anything I can do to expand my bandwidth, that's something that Copaiba does amazingly for me.
So would you do kind of a double there? You'd say, okay, put a couple drops, do this, do the aromatic,
Absolutely.
and then be rubbing it
And
all
probably
over.
underneath my tongue too.
And
All the things.
all of them at once.
All the
I love
things.
that. So it's really a pretty easy oil to use. You really can't go wrong using it.
Absolutely. And it's inside of our deep blue stick for a reason. So those who are like, movement maybe doesn't feel fantastic to me, adding it in at those times as well. I like it more for my daily experience, but movement, if that's a struggle for you, double down on that with your deep blue experience too.
Yeah, so let's talk to those who are trying to share this with their neighbors, or they thought, you know what, my brother, my sister, my neighbor, they could probably use a little bit of help in this area. How would you recommend sharing Copaiba? What would be an approach that you could use there?
You know, Copaiba, it takes a little bit more time experiencing it to feel the difference. It's not like a peppermint experience where it's like instantly you're like, whoa, something is happening here. So definitely as you're sharing Copaiba with your loved ones, giving them a little more so they can have a longer time to experience it. Especially like I like to use the example of like a cross-country runner. A cross-country runner can consume a lot more calories than somebody who's sitting at a desk, right?
Yeah, of course.
Same thing with somebody whose environment is very overstimulating. They're stressed to the max. When you give them something to support them, their body's going to go through it a lot faster. And we're all experiencing a lot more nowadays. So being able to bring that in, giving them a full week of experience versus here in 5 minutes, everything that you've experienced over the last 10 years is going to dissipate, giving them a longer experience and exposure to it. And again, using it all the ways. So teach them how to put it underneath their tongue, teach them how to apply it topically, take the extra that's in the hands and breathe in deeply. It definitely makes sure that they have a stronger and more likely to really experience the full benefits of Copaiba.
I love that. I love that. As we wrap up, maybe just this last question. If there's one thing you wanted our audience to really remember about Copaiba, what would that be?
I think we're all looking for ways to calm down. And just like Dr. Stevens spoke to earlier, I think there's a lot of things that maybe as a culture we've been taught this is what we reach for. And unfortunately, most of the things that we reach for to reduce stress take us out of our daily experience. They make us more of a zombie, and we're not actually experiencing life. And you want to be attentive to your kids. You want to be attentive to the people that you love. So anything that can keep us in the moment, but not cause those moments to be too much, that's what Copaiba does. It allows us to still experience a life, experience our environment, but maybe not at a level where it feels like it's too much for us. So you get to stay in tune. You don't have to check out, and you can reach for a better option for being able to handle life.
I love that. And maybe bring back something Dr. Nicole said about that balance. So use Copaiba. Be balanced. Be present. Love life. And live your life. Enjoy Copaiba. Whether that's the oil, soft gels,
or both.
We hope you enjoyed learning more about the incredible benefits of Copaiba. From its calming properties to its internal support, it's a natural choice for everyday wellness. A big thank you to our education team for sharing their insights. Be sure to subscribe for more episodes, and we'd love to hear your experience with Copaiba. Drop a comment. We'll see you next time.